Thank you again very much for coming. At this point, I'd like to bring up Winona State Athletic Director Eric Show.
Thanks. Welcome, everybody. We're glad you're here today. It's obviously an exciting day for Warrior Athletics, and it's my privilege to introduce to you our new volleyball coach, Joe Getzin. A couple of quick things. As we went through this process, and Joe's name was under consideration on our campus, and you started looking at the background that he has and the successes has had and the level that he was at. Why is he interested in Winona State University volleyball? And I think it speaks volumes of our institution, the reputation that Winona State has. It's a great place, and I think it speaks volume of the Northern Sun Conference and the level of volleyball that we play at, that someone with Joe's background would have a passion and energy to come here and lead our program to where we want it to be. Joe and I spent a lot of time getting to know each other through the interview process, and the more I got to know Joe, the more I knew that he was the right person to lead our program, and he just kept rising above the rest. We had an outstanding pool of candidates, but he quickly became the person that we saw as the number one guy in the pool and the guy that we wanted to have here. So with that, I'll introduce you to Joe Getzin, head volleyball coach at Winona State.
Well, thank you for coming out. I'd like to thank Dr. Olson, Eric Shaw, Jen Flowers, and the rest of the search committee for giving me this opportunity to work with the Winona State family, and I'm excited to be here. There was as I got ready to do this, there was a list of things of why I made this decision as to come here, and I guess if that list is a long thing, it speaks volumes of Winona State. And I think the first thing was the school itself and the strong reputation that it has. I think that's a very important part in any athletic program, is that you have that academic institution behind you that you can recruit to. The support of the administration. When I met with Dr. Olson and Eric, it was very evident that the whole administration really supports the athletic programs here. The success of the athletic teams. Winning national championships is not easy, and that we have teams here and individuals here that have accomplished that here recently really speaks volumes once again to the program, the athletic program, and the support of the administration that we're able to do that. All the teams have been very successful within the conference. The longevity of the coaches. When you have successful coaches and they decide to stick around, I think you have something special here. And I think with all of the coaches, I got to see that, and I could see why they want to be here. Mike Turgeon and the Academic Success Center for the student athletes, well, I've experienced that at other levels. To have that here really is a great recruiting tool, and it's another reason why I felt that I could be successful and why Winona State can be successful as we go out and recruit student athletes. The community of Winona, my family is excited to be a part of it. It's a beautiful place, and that was a very attractive piece to the puzzle. The strong regional volleyball community that we have is also very important, that you have such strong volleyball locally and in our recruiting base. I know that we can go out and get athletes that can help us win championships. The strength of the Northern Sun Conference speaks volumes, not only in volleyball, where the 7-time national champ has come from, but in all sports. And when you're competing for conference championships in the Northern Sun, I think that puts you in the stage to compete for national championships. So having that was a very important piece of it. When I met on the interview process, the student athletes, that was kind of a deciding factor. There were some great young ladies in the room here and in the interview process that really show that they have a passion, they have a desire to compete for championships, and they realize that it's hard work. And my saying is, winning is hard. It's not easy to win, not at the level that we're going to win at. And they all said they're on board for that. So having that piece of the puzzle was a very important piece. Lastly, I'm ready to start this journey and get in the gym and get going and start getting Winona State back on the map for volleyball. Thank you.
questions? Jeff, Paul, anybody in the back, if you have any questions for Joe, please go ahead.
Joe, when you started the process and when you parted ways with Ole Miss, after being there for a dozen years, did you step back and say, hey, I want to be at Division I, Division II, or did you why look at all opportunities when you've been at the highest level of collegiate volleyball?
Well, when I came to that decision-making thing, it was an important piece of the puzzle. Was a lot of reflection and why I coach. And I have a degree in physical education and feel I'm a teacher at heart. And one of the things that I saw happening at the Division I level that I was involved with was I was becoming more of a manager of a staff and not having as much hands-on opportunity to work with the athletes as much as I would like. And when I started investigating Winona State, it became apparent that I would have that opportunity and yet compete at a very high level. So it made it a very attractive package for me.
Was there any thought that after being the coach for 12 years, taking a year off, taking some time off before going to your next coaching job?
Oh yeah, I mean it was it came by kind of as a surprise to me that I parted ways. So there was a lot of time for reflection and so forth. But after that first month, my wife started going, "This isn't sitting around on the couch isn't a good option for you." So.
What did you know about Winona State, if anything, before some research? Did you know about the program, the athletic programs, volleyball, anything regarding the university?
Well, I had grown up in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and don't tell my high school teachers, but I would skip out of school once in a while and ride my motorcycle over to southwestern Wisconsin and into Winona and so forth, and I've always loved the area. And because that Winona State is in the Northern Sun Conference, obviously, as a volleyball coach, you always pay attention to who's winning national championships and what conferences are strong and so forth. And them being a part of the Northern Sun, I was familiar with them. Of course, volleyball is a small community, and I know who Dave is, and have a sister that lives up near Crookston, so when he was there, I knew him from that. Winona State has always been, I've known of it.
With as tough as the NSIC is, how hard is it going to be to hit the ground running?
Well, I think that's one of the exciting parts is I think there's pieces of the puzzle in place. I think the girls are ready to work hard, and I can't say that I know exactly where we stand with it because I haven't had a day in the gym with the girls yet, but from all the reports of other coaches within the leagues, and as I talk to the colleagues around, everyone has said that there's good athletes here. And it's an athletic sport, and you're going to have that to be successful. So I think some of the pieces of the puzzle are there, and the girls work hard. If they put their money where their mouth is, we'll be good to go.
How do you establish, obviously when you're recruiting SEC, you're recruiting different athletes in different areas. Have you any kind of contact or network or establishment for recruiting in the Midwest?
Well, yes, we had to recruit on a national level at Ole Miss. We didn't have a regional recruiting base, so while we did a lot in Texas, we did everything on a national level. So I have several athletes and good contacts in the Chicago area, Madison, Minneapolis. I had a former student athlete that just came from I think it was Egan. So we've been up in the Minneapolis area. It's always been tough to get Minnesota girls to leave Minnesota. So I think that's a good thing now. But as I said, the region is so loaded with good talent that I think tapping into that is going to be a good thing for us.
Is there going to be a certain level of, culture shock for yourself moving from the SEC into the NSIC?
Well, I think, anytime you move is a culture shock. And moving from regional parts of the country, I've had to get another jacket, so that's been part of the culture shock. I think getting familiar with Division II is going to be a little bit interesting. For me, I've always just dealt from a scholarship standpoint for full rides. So there's a learning curve that's going to be involved, but I think coaching is coaching. I don't think it matters what level it is. It's teaching. It's getting in the gym and working hard. There's no replacement for that. And as long as the girls respond, then we're going to be in great shape.
In your past teams, has there been things that your teams have been kind of known as strengths as a team?
I think we've always been a good defensive team. I think that's an easy gauge to see how hard a team is working just with defense, because it's more of an effort than anything else. So I would say I was always known for having a defensive team, one of those scrappy teams that you don't like to play because they never go away. And it's just more of an attitude than anything else. So that's definitely something that, you know, when I meet with the team this evening, that's the first thing that we're going to talk about is attitude and what we need to do to back that up when we go into the court.
I'm sure you come into this, you've got a plan. What are the first couple of things on that plan? What do you need to establish right away?
Well, I think relationships with the players. I mean, I think that's the most important thing, so that we have a trust level, so that when I'm asking them to do something, they know that they can do it, that I'm not going to ask them to do something that they're not capable of doing. You know, I think then just establishing and getting everyone on the same page. You're not going to have a successful team unless you have everyone, you know, rowing in the same direction. Then it's just a lot of repetition, you know, and I think when you get repetition, it's confidence, and building confidence is, you know, I think you watch the Olympics and just listen to the athletes talk how important confidence is, and building that. And then always recruiting. And, you know, at every level, it comes down to what athletes you have in the gym. So, you know, recruiting is something that is always important to us.
You mentioned that, you know, in 46 ball, the 7-time national champs, that obviously Winona State won, and the Ruth was really taking some great strides. Tough situation, where do you come from? Tough situation to go into. How do you compete with that level?
Well, I think you're right, and the conference is deeper than those two teams. You know, I don't want to leave anyone out because you get someone mad at you in this conference, it's going to come back to bite you. But you know, so it's a good, you know, I mean, that's one of the attractive things, at least for me, was I love competition and I want to play against the best. And you know, hopefully the girls feel the same way, because you're going to measure yourself against the best there is in the country. And you know, at the end of the day, you're going to realize where you stand and what you need to do to be the best. And I think that's the important part in all of this.
One thing the community, and of course the media, always wants to know, how soon can you do this?
Well, we're going to start tonight. You know, how do you eat an elephant? And one bite at a time. So there's no quick fix. I mean, you know, obviously we are who we are right now, and it's is going to take a lot of effort on the girls' part, a lot of commitment to get them to buy into what it takes to be successful. You know, how good can we be? You know, I think they have an idea of themselves and they want to be successful, so I think that's really important. And then it's, you know, as we get to work with each other and see what our strengths are and how we can move forward with our strengths and what can we improve upon is going to be an important thing. You know, are we going to win a national championship this next year? Well, you know, I mean, you have to play the first game before that happens, but there's a lot of practices before that. You know, and then, you know, I think that Winona State has proven that they can win at all the sports, at all the levels, so there's no reason to think that Winona State can't be successful in volleyball as well.
Have you had a chance to converse with Coach Lee or Coach Sawyer, you know, on essentially how far can you go from here?
Not yet. I mean, you know, I think, you know, we've had some conversations and so forth, but we haven't had specific ones yet.
As far as the recruiting trail, are you behind right now for this coming year, or where does that stand as far as getting a recruiting class for the coming year?
Well, we have 3 very good signees already committed for next year. You know, we'll probably be looking as I assess the situation and what our needs are. If there are needs, what else we can get in this short amount of time. And then with recruiting, it always seems to be getting earlier and earlier. So, you know, we'll be on the junior class here shortly.
Last question?
Well, I just greatly appreciate you coming out and supporting us, and this is another reason why I know we can be successful. Thank you.